Let's get to
We
those
have
calls.
Mike in Indiana who wants to talk to us about whether we think putting faith in the claims of experts is more reliable than putting faith in the claims of religion. So welcome, Mike. How are you?
Great, Matt. How are you?
I'm all right.
Awesome. Hey, happy birthday to your brother, by the way.
Thanks on his behalf. How can we help?
Well, I wanted to pose the question to you, whether or not you think putting blind faith in the claims of experts or government officials is a more reliable path to the truth than blindly believing the claims of religion.
So first of all, I got an issue with the word faith. I got an issue with saying it's blind faith. I don't put blind faith in experts, but if I were going to put blind confidence in, scientific experts, I would. Here's the thing. People with a demonstrated expertise in some facet of reality are who we're talking about when we talk about experts. We can't be talking about you can have religious experts, but they're experts in the doctrines of the religion and the history of the religion. They're not experts in anything that's necessarily tied to reality. Like you can have a Star Trek expert, you can have a Harry Potter expert, but that's an expertise on a subject, not on reality. So in the entire history of humanity, nothing has ever proven a scientific finding wrong, but except for better science. Religion has never proved science wrong. Science has proved many religious claims wrong. And so even though I don't recommend anybody have blind faith, my confidence isn't in the experts. My confidence is in the evidence and data they cite that makes them experts. But given that history, if somebody were forcing me to have blind faith in something, my blind faith would go to experts in actual subjects in reality over religion every single time.
Mm-hmm. And the difference I see right off the bat is that there's a difference between science and religion. Science is tested and proven, and conclusions are reached by testing and proving them, rather than claims made in a book written thousands of years ago by who knows who. So there's the difference that I see right off the bat. And so I would ask you, which claims are you talking about that someone would be putting blind faith in terms of science or medicine, or be specific about that, if you will?
Sure. No, that's a great question. I'm asking this question because we find ourselves in a situation, especially in the U.S., where government officials, so-called experts, people who represent science, make claims without providing evidence, and en masse, people believe the claims that they make. Well,
what are you talking about? Because you're starting to sound like an anti-vaxxer.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly what I'm trying to get at.
So you don't believe this? So. Hang on. Do you think that vaccines are real and work?
Well, let me say one thing first before I answer that question.
No, let me ask my question first. Do you think that vaccines are real and that they work?
No.
Okay, then I don't know how to talk to you, because this has anything to do with government experts. Vaccines are real and they work. We eliminated smallpox because of vaccines. Vaccines have saved countless lives. If at this point you don't believe that vaccines are real and work, then you are too stupid to actually engage in a conversation about this, because you think it's about governments and experts. You haven't bothered to go and learn and research and study the data that shows that from a scientific perspective, absolutely vaccines work. I'm sorry that you don't accept the facts of modern medicine, but I'm not going to allow you to sit on this show and pretend or try to argue that someone who thinks vaccines aren't real and don't work is actually speaking honestly when they talk about this subject. You're not. You are grossly ill-informed, and I hope, beyond hope, for your sake and for the sake of the people around you, that you go out and educate yourself on what actual experts and what the actual data says with regard to vaccines, because what the position that you have is dangerous as fuck, and we're not going to waste any more time on it. Goodbye. So, There we go.
Well, I was
First-
going to ask him if he thought that unvaccinated people who get sick, because the vast majority of the ones who are getting sick and hospitalized and dying now are unvaccinated. I mean, a large majority. I was going to ask him if he thought it was okay, if they don't believe in vaccines, that if they get sick, that they don't go to the hospitals and put their faith in medicine. But maybe he sees this off air. I don't know.
I mean, there's 5.3 million people dead worldwide, 817,000 people dead in the United States alone. And that's just from one illness with a couple of variants for which we now have a vaccine. But to just say, nope, I don't believe that any vaccines work, you are denying the facts of medical science. It's too much. This is an atheist call-in show. Neither Dave nor myself are medical doctors. We're not science teachers. And somebody like that caller desperately needs to go take a course on the science, to go actually look it up.
Well, apparently he wouldn't believe the numbers either. I mean, he must be denying the actual numbers that come in. The people who are going to the hospital now, he must think that's a government conspiracy to lie to us about the people going to the hospital.
Yeah. I mean, the data is overwhelming.
Yeah,
with regard
the data is
to
clear.
The current pandemic. But setting that aside, that's why I asked the initial question at the beginning, which is, do you think vaccines work? He doesn't think vaccines work. And I'm like, we cured smallpox. I mean,
polio.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. So
Yeah,
I will say
it's hard to talk to someone like that. It really is. It's just like there's no point of connection in reality.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to try to do harder, but it's not the job of this show, nor is it responsible to sit around and try and educate someone on first grade, second grade science stuff that they just don't accept. I don't know what you missed in science class, but if you think that vaccines just don't work, then you are no longer in touch with reality.
I wonder if he believes in what the experts say about gravity, or is he jumping off buildings? I don't know.
Who knows? So if you are someone who has a belief like that, okay, I guess you need to go educate yourself on some science. But we're looking for people who have beliefs and are willing to defend them. And if your defense is just basically, oh, I don't believe what science says, well, we're not going to get very far, and it's not going to be a very good conversation.